welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a video that I wanted to do to kind of explain my experience at our bush camp or safari in South Africa, just to kind of explain a little bit more what happened, since after going back through my vlogs I realized that I was enjoying the place way too much and I did not explain half of the things I really wanted to share that would have been very informative and helpful for people that are going on a safari in the future. I pretty much wanted to explain just a little bit more about where we stayed and just some tips about dressing and just kind of a typical day at the safari camp. So first of all, we stayed at the bush camp called Umlani, which, by the way, I completely recommend. It's an eco lodge. It's a very environmentally friendly place to stay at. They use solar panels to charge their lights. They don't use electrical outlets in all their places. They only have one area where you can charge your phones, which is why I was very kind of disconnected with the world while I was there, and it was a very good feeling because I really was taking everything in, and they get you very, very busy. So that's why I feel like I wasn't posting as much as I normally would if I was on vacation. Aside from that, I believe they also have their own water like reserve while you're staying there, so you use your own water, you don't use anything else. The lodge is also in the Timbavati Reserve in South Africa, so it does share the land with other camps there. So if you've never been to a camp like this, you may notice that sometimes if you are on drives, you may see other camps similar to yours from other camps that are just driving around, and they do talk to each other and they do tell each other if they do find things, because they're all sharing the land. So even though you are staying in one particular lodge, you will see other people in the area. So the typical day at this bush camp, for example, was I believe the wake up time was like at 5:15, so they would come knock on your door and wake you up, and then by 6 you have to be pretty much ready to go. They do serve coffee and drinks and little snacks right before you go because it's really early, and then when you go to your car, to your guide that you're normally with and the rest of the people that you're normally with, and then you would drive off for the morning drive. You have 2 drives every single day, so you have a morning one and a night or afternoon one. And the morning one, like I said, for our camp was starting at 6 in the morning, and then we went off and did it for maybe like 3 hours or so, I believe. And then between that drive you do have a break, which at our camp they always ask like what you want to drink and have while you're there, so then they can store it in the car and then you can have it during that break in particular. During the drives, especially the morning ones, I feel like those were the most active drives. You do see more animals. The animals are waking up, they're looking for food, they're just active compared to the night one, which I'll get into in a little bit. But I did see and notice that, and we stayed there I think 5 days. From the 5 days we were there, the most that we saw were definitely in the morning. So definitely be prepared, and it might be a little chilly of a drive, so definitely stay a little bit warm in there. Our cars in particular had blankets, and they did give us like heated water bottles, like the rubber ones that they put hot water in. So they did give us that, which was very, very nice of them. But you do take that with you early in the morning because you're right before sunrise just to see everything out there. And yeah, so you go and see your animals, and you're looking for just your basic big 5, which I'll explain in a second. And then after your morning drive, you come back, you have breakfast. They have amazing breakfast at the resort. Pretty much they always ask you what you want to have, and they kind of make it for you right there and then, and they have amazing chefs, like I said, so you won't have a problem liking your food. Definitely be adventurous. They do serve like very interesting choices for protein and things like that. Our camp in particular also had, if you have any dietary restrictions, you definitely let them know and they will kind of cater to you. Since somebody there was, I believe, a vegetarian, like full just vegetarian, and every day they would always give them like a veggie option pretty much for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Then after breakfast you would have the rest of your day pretty much do whatever you wanted. They do have like a pool area, which I did not use because it is winter and it was freaking cold, so I was not going to use it. But maybe next time if we go in a warmer time, I would definitely take advantage of that. They do have Wi-Fi, so you can communicate with your family and share all your photos. You could also do bush walks, which is something that at this resort they do provide. which is just that pretty much you go out with one of the guides and they literally do a bush walk. So you walk around the bush, the savannah, and then he tells you about the different tracks, and you look for animals, and it can be a very adventurous time and to see other animals that you normally wouldn't see in your drive. They also have a tree house at this camp, which means that you can stay there. They'll drive you to the tree house, and we did stay there overnight, which was amazing. You could pretty much sleep there. They do set it up for you, and they give you a flashlight and everything, so you're not just like in the dark, but you don't really need the light. It's the moon is shining down on you, so it was beautiful. But so during the day you have those two options, or you just do things around the camp. You also have lunch, and then after that you have a afternoon tea, I believe. I can't remember the official name. I think it was like an afternoon tea, and that's right before the afternoon drive. So you do the afternoon drive around 3 or so at our camp in the winter, because I think it also goes by the time of the year because of the sunlight. So I think it was around 3, and then you go out and you look at the animals in the afternoon. The afternoon drive is also a little bit different because you go out during the day, so you do have to plan to be out in a warmer climate during the winter, and then also it would turn into winter, so you have to plan to dress for the winter right after. But the night drives are a little bit slower. We notice you do see a little bit lesser amount of animals, and the actual night drive is pretty cool because as I learned, you don't necessarily look for animals all the time. The night drives are actually more reserved for cats and like smaller animals in like trees, so like bush babies and like chameleons and things like that. And the cats, obviously leopards and lions and things like that, they're usually like on trees, and you can spot them, all these animals, because they use some lights, like a flashlight or like a torch as they call it, just like a light to flash around. And as we also learned, you don't keep the light straight into their eyes because it can blind certain animals, because obviously like we don't like things to be flashed into our eyes, so I don't think the animals would like it either. So yeah, so then after that we did return back into our camp, and then we would have dinner. Dinner setup there was amazing. So they did serve delicious food again, and they do always like set it up really nicely and beautiful with like little plants and things like that. So it was never a boring experience. You would always think that you'd be like, oh, I know the routine here, and every day they would surprise you and do something a little bit different. It was pretty cool. Also, before dinner, they do take you back to your rooms, and they do take you back, at least in our camp, because they don't have the lights or anything, with a guide. They would take you with their light because there's no light, so any animals could be in there, and they are trackers, so if they see any types of paws or anything, they'll know exactly what animal it is, which is pretty cool, because sometimes you would see like really cool like prints around the camp, so they would be like, oh, there was like a leopard here or something like that, because the animals can technically come in. They only have bars around the whole camp, and like little like 2 bars or so, and they're technically supposed to stop like the bigger animals like elephants and giraffes and things like that. But any other smaller animals can definitely sneak through. So we did see some other animals that you'll see in our vlog that did sneak into the camp. So they would take us back to our room, and then obviously our room was already made because they're wonderful, and we would come back, and then when we're ready they would pick us up again. So you would just tell them, oh yeah, I need 5 minutes, and then they would come back and get you, and then we would have dinner, and then after that you can relax by the fire and have a good time, talk to the other people that are staying there, which was very cool to meet a lot of people. We met people from Colombia and from South Africa, a guy who was a very regular person at this camp from Australia. He's been coming there for years, like I think he said maybe 2003 or so. But yeah, he's a big like safari person, a very known person at this camp. But yeah, he told us all these stories about everything, and like how they set up the tables like by the river for like New Year's Eve and things like that. It was pretty cool. And then after dinner, you just go back, and pretty much we always went back to sleep because we would be very tired. You wouldn't think you'd be tired because they're kind of doing everything for you, but you're just like tired mentally from just like the whole day in general, and then you would just be really tired and want to go to sleep anyway. So then you would go to sleep and start the routine all over again. So morning drive, lunch, food, etc., and afternoon drive, and then over and over again. Dressing I do recommend, and I think our camp recommends, and I think this is kind of like a known fact for safari bush camps or game drives, to definitely dress with neutral clothes. And that obviously is because you want to kind of blend in with the animals and with nature, so you don't make anyone angry. I did read, for example, I'm a big black and white person. Black apparently attracts certain bugs, and white makes certain animals upset, like elephants and things like that, so you don't want to do that. For the winter months, which is when we went, I definitely recommend taking a jacket, like a winter jacket, and not like super heavy or anything, but like a fluffy like winter jacket is fine, because I didn't take one, and let me tell you, night drives are very, very, very cold. I can't remember how cold it was there. I'll probably put the temperature here if I can remember. But pretty much it was really cold because it feels cold and then you're driving, so the wind makes it even colder, and you're not driving like super slow and you're not driving super fast either, but it'll get cold. So I definitely recommend taking like really warm things for the nighttime, and just kind of have versatile clothes that you can wear for the daytime and the nighttime, because you don't want to be switching clothes constantly throughout the day. I also recommend a hat, because that's one thing that I did get before the trip, and I'm so glad that I did. It was like my favorite outfit accessory because it was just easy to put on. I never got like tan or anything because the sun during the day is very, very hot. So definitely a hat of some sorts I definitely recommend, because the sun is hitting you straight into your face. And then the last thing I kind of wanted to touch on really quickly is just that if you are traveling to Africa, definitely do your research just about where you're staying, the area that you're staying in, and if you do need to take some medicines of some sort, malaria medicine or typhoid, anything. We did go to a local clinic and just ask them. We did take malaria medicine, I believe, and it wasn't like we took it, but then we stopped taking it, I believe, because we were in the winter months and it's not that like important, I guess, not important, but it's not that prevalent in the winter months. So we decided that we were going to be okay. We trusted our camp and there wasn't going to be anything kind of crazy there that was going to affect us. So we were fine. I'm alive. But yeah, definitely do your research. So that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I wish I would have said this a little bit sooner, but pretty much this is my account of what our camp was, and just kind of an overview of what happened, and just my little tidbits on how it was to stay there, and our experience there. And if you have any other questions, that I feel like I could write a whole book on like our experience there, but obviously I just wanted to recount what happened, and hopefully that was helpful and that you have a little better idea of what it's like to stay at a bush camp. So if you have any questions, like I said, just leave them down below, and definitely like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you're not already, since I'll definitely be uploading our safari vlog, and I also have a vlog from Cape Town, which is where we went after that. So definitely subscribe so you don't miss any of the future videos, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye. This is a video that hopefully, if you're watching this video, no, get up, you're out.